Members, it's the appointed time. We have a quorum. I call to order the meeting of the panel on public service. This is the first meeting of the panel on public service. The first agenda item is election of chairman and deputy chairman. The Secretariat issued a notice to inform members that at the end of the nomination period of the office of chairman of the panel, we only received one valid nomination. The nominee is Mr. Chow Siu-chung. The nomination was made by Ms. Nixie Lam and seconded by Mr. Kingsley Wang. Because Mr. Chow Siu-chung is not a chairman or deputy chairman of any other panels or a chairman or deputy chairman for any relevant government advisory bodies, in accordance with the rules of procedure and House rules, I declare Mr. Chow Siu-chung elected as the chairman of the panel in this session. Please take over and preside over the meeting, Mr. Chow. Thank you. And congratulations. Thank you, Mr. Ho and other members, for your trust and support. Let's move on to the second part of the first agenda item, election of the deputy chairman. We will now hold the election of the deputy chairman of the panel in the 2026 session. The Secretariat issued a notice to inform members that at the end of the nomination period for the office of deputy chairman of the panel, only one valid nomination was received. The nominee is Ms. Nixie Lam. The nomination was made by Mr. Lam Wai-kong and seconded by Mr. Chen Cho-kwang. Because Ms. Nixie Lam is not a chairman or deputy chairman of any other panels, or a chairman or deputy chairman of any relevant government advisory bodies. In accordance with the rules of procedure and the House rules, I declare Ms. Nixie Lam elected deputy chairman of the panel in this session. Thank you. Let's move on to the second agenda item, schedule of meetings for the 2026 session. In the 2025 session, the regular meetings of the panel were held at 10:45 in the morning on the third Monday of each month. If members agree to adopt the previous arrangements, please refer to the proposed schedule of meetings of this session before you. Please note that one, for the third Monday of February, it is close to the Lunar New Year holidays, so the regular meeting in February will be held at 8:30 in the morning on 23rd of February, Monday instead. And two, as the third Monday of October is a public holiday, the regular meeting in October will be held at 8:30 in the morning on 26th of October, Monday instead. If members have no objections, we'll follow this schedule. Let's move on to the third agenda item, items for discussion at the next meeting. A policy briefing will be held to allow members to have a better understanding of the policy directions of the government. The policy briefing will be held between 10 and 11:30 in the morning on 27th of January, Tuesday. The Secretary for Civil Service will be here to brief members on the policies. And there will be a question and answer session, I believe. The next regular meeting of the panel, as said earlier, will be held at 8:30 in the morning on 23rd of February, Monday. The administration proposes to discuss the two following items. One, the situation on establishment strength, retirement, resignation, age and sex distribution of civil servants, and 2 non-civil service contract employees. Do members agree to discussing the 2 items at the next meeting? If there are no objections, we will discuss the 2 items. I will now ask members to suggest items for discussion for this panel's meetings this session. If you would like to speak, please press the Request to Speak button. Four members have pressed the Request to Speak button. I will not read out the order in which members are going to speak. I will assign a 2-minute time limit for each member. Thank you. Mr. Stephen Ho. Thank you, Chair. I believe we will be looking closely at the accountability system of the government, how it is going to be implemented, and can the government tell us more about the different practices of civil servants, the conduct, how they regulate the conduct of civil servants? Because the public has been paying close attention to the issue. Can we also take a macro perspective in the discussion of issues? In the last term, when we talked about dental care, it would be a specific item. Can we take a more macro perspective in this session so we can discuss various things within a single item? We can consolidate the different topics so that we can have more diversity in topics and make effective use of the panel's time. Thank you. Mr. Kingsley Wong. Thank you, Chair. I would like to raise 2 points. This panel, for a panel on public service, it actually includes employees of subvented bodies, and we mainly focus on civil servants before. We have many public bodies that are very much relevant to citizen affairs. Can we look at, say, the Productivity Council, the Tourism Board, and other public bodies so that they can make a report to this panel? I also agree with what Mr. Stephen Ho said. Before, we had a subcommittee in relation to civil servant benefits. Some recommendations were made, and we talked not only about dental care, but also making use of the civil service pension to purchase property, providing more public housing quotas for civil servants, as well as health insurance for civil servants and related persons. So I want to ask, how has the government been following up with such work? Can we receive a report from the government? Thank you, Mr. Aaron Bok. Thank you, Chair. I also want to ask about the accountability system for senior officials, how it is going to be implemented, like Mr. Stephen Ho said. We want to strike a balance. We expect much from civil servants, but we don't want to be too inflexible. On civil service morale, we have many civil servants perform very well, but when there are some incidents happen, there will be strengthened regulation, increasing the workload for civil servants. And due to economic circumstances, we have not had a significant increase in the salary. We have also had salaries frozen last year. We are trying to increase speed and quality of public service, and many reforms are being taken forward. But then we are also cutting resources. We really need to make sure civil service morale is not affected. On civil service culture, after the handover, we have a culture of people being afraid of making mistakes. While we're trying to streamline procedures and try to expedite things and enhancing quality, we need to make sure civil servants are not afraid of doing things wrong. They need to be ambitious. We need them to not be prudent. Thank you. Mr. Chan Cho-kwang, thank you, Chair. I hope that the panel can flesh out and see if there's any room for improvement for the civil service conditions and pay and benefits, because this will be a reference in the private sector. And with healthcare and dental care for civil servants, we all know how bad it is for civil servants. Let me declare an interest here. I was part of civil service before. I do not have much benefit after retirement. I think we need to make sure we have adequate protection, and I think taking out group insurance is an option because it will be a cost-effective option if we take out insurance in a batch. And we have seen civil service performance being criticized in different incidents in recent years. I think there is a need to really improve on the regime for conduct of civil servants, as well as recognition for them, as well as the internal assessment mechanism and disciplinary procedures. I hope that within this year we can promote the reforms of the civil service. Thank you. Mr. Lam Wai Kwong. Thank you. I have 4 points to raise. Mr. Bok talked about civil service morale, and I think we can discuss civil service pay, whether increments will be given, will there be an increase in the pay in general. This all relates to civil service morale. Also, I want to talk about post-retirement health care protection for those engaged under the new terms. We have those on pension terms receiving post-retirement protection, but not for those under the new terms. Can we review the system? And we have seen AI and other technologies being used to enhance work efficiency in the civil service. What is the progress of implementation of application of such technology? Does it help with manpower deployment? Does it really help the civil service? Can we review the effectiveness? Fourth, is it possible for the government to promote the image of civil servants to make it more positive? Because in news reports, often civil servants are portrayed in a bad light, but with frontline personnel or management personnel, there are definitely those who are performing very well, and perhaps we can package it better and promote these cases as well. Ms. Julia Lau. Thank you, Chair. I would like to echo on the point made by Mr. Bok and other members about civil service morale. We do rely on civil servants for the work of the government. Can civil servants give opinions anonymously on things to improve on of their departments, for example, hardware? Because they are most familiar with the work of departments. So if they can give some suggestions on how to enhance efficiency for the consideration of their seniors, I believe that is quite pragmatic. I actually had another point to make, but I don't remember it now. Let's move on. Thank you. Mr. Wu Yinpeng. Thank you, Chair. I hope that we can discuss the following items in the panel's meetings this year. We have seen patriots administering Hong Kong since the improvement of the governance of Hong Kong. And how can we make sure we are taking an executive-led approach and implement civil service reform so that civil servants are responsible and they do and take forward policies as we need. Thank you, Ms. Julia Lau.
Yes, back to the point that was in my mind. In relation to raising the morale of the civil service, I just wonder if internally there can be something like a selection process, say once half yearly or yearly. Those who perform well and excellently, they should be sort of selected and be commended. And then you should find a channel to publicize the stories. So I just wonder if you can publicize such stories so as to strike a balance and try to set off the offset the negative image. So members have already spoken on your ideas concerning what we should discuss in the coming year. The clerk has made a note of it. Nishi and myself will soon be having a meeting with the administration concerning our work plan. All your suggestions will be taken up with the administration in our upcoming meeting. All right. Next, let's talk about subcommittees to study policy issues. The chair of the House Committee at our House Committee meeting last week already told you about the basic principles in relation to setting up policy-related subcommittees under the House Committee or under panels. The House Committee has agreed that after receiving all the proposals from panels, then it will take a holistic view in relation to the priorities. If members would like to set up policy-related subcommittees under a panel, so as to look into specific issues that have attracted wide public attention, please make a written proposal and hand it to the clerk before 5 p.m. on the 6th of February, including the terms of reference, the work schedule, as well as the work plan, among other information items. Please also note that for the membership limit of policy-related subcommittees on the panels, it is 20, among whom more than half should be made up of panel members. Non-panel members may also join, but then they mustn't outnumber those from the panel itself. So please note what I've just said. The following item, AOB. Today we haven't got any other items. Meeting adjourned.